Now, after the ordination, there was the reception at St. Mary's. Now, that was a group reception. Is that normally done?
So it's been weird lately, obviously, because of things in the world. But typically the Archdiocese has those big receptions, but I was not prepared. I knew that this was going to be happening, but you're given first blessings constantly. I just had no idea how physically exhausted I would be from that. I mean, my muscles hurt from just giving so many blessings and wanting to do a good job with everybody, It's kind of exhausting. You're like, all right, who's your patron saint? And you're incorporating them in, and then you want your sign of the cross to be decent every time. And it's just funny. I mean, hours and hours and hours of doing that. You don't really have time to eat.
So does your arm get tired from making the sign of the cross over and over again?
I think my arm was fine. It was really kind of like my back from like having a good posture for that long, and my legs for standing. You're just standing for hours and hours, because that happens after the ordination, basically for the whole day. And then the next day, when you have your first Mass, you have another 2 hours of line or something at.
Yeah, because people want the first blessing.
Which is awesome, right?
Where was your first Mass?
My first Mass is at St. Lawrence, my home parish, so where I went to school, preschool through 8th grade.
Now, I watched the first Masses of the other guys, but yours I couldn't find online. There was no video of that?
Mine will be eternally underground. No one will ever see it. And it was beautiful. There's pictures of it. And then the homily is on St. Lawrence's website, which the homily was the one that really made news. So
really?
I asked for news. I'm really joking. But Father Richard Hinkley preached, and I heard another priest say, he's the best preacher in the Archdiocese. I mean, he's brilliant. He's funny. He's just very clever, has a really good way of kind of synthesizing the gospel and also incorporating current events. He's really, really impressive. He's the director of spiritual direction at the seminary.
Okay.
And every time I heard him preach at the seminary, I was always like, man, I want this guy to preach my first Mass. And I remember one day after he preached a Mass, he was actually during Mass, he was preaching. And I was thinking, okay, I need to ask him. And in that moment, he referenced the sequence that is sung right before the gospel at Pentecost. He was referencing text from the sequence at Pentecost. And my first Mass was Pentecost. All of our first Masses were Pentecost. And I was like, man, that's such a confirmation. So I grabbed him after Mass and I said, Father, would you preach my first Mass? And he was like, oh, I would be honored. And so he did. And he preached an awesome homily. I mean, it was funny. It was sad. It was 29 minutes. So
wow.
Which was wild, because they only have 2 hours between Masses at St. Lawrence. And our Mass, because I gave my parents the Maniturgium stole, it was like, it started at 11 and it was like 12:45 and they had a 1 o'clock Mass.
Wow.
I mean, it was, the parking lot is clearing 5 minutes before, and that parking lot gets packed. And so it was kind of a mess. I think we brought a lot of stress to Father
So
Drew.
What was it about his homily?
So
without going too much into it.
Yeah, I don't want to. So the way he opened was really funny. He kind of did the okey doke when he opened. He says, he opens and he goes like, discord, chaos, nation against nation, war, racism, medically speaking, plague. He's throwing out all this stuff, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is super depressing. And he goes, would anyone here disagree with my assessment of the 1st century AD? and so that whole place is laughing. And then he just really kind of unpacked, like why we need the Holy Spirit, like what Pentecost meant for the world in the 1st century AD and what it means for us now. Delved into Trinitarian theology. At one point was talking about how the like button has just destroyed Western civilization. I mean, it was just awesome. Just 29 incredible minutes. My friend after Mass goes, that's one of the best podcasts I've ever heard in my life.
So that's available on...
Yeah, you can find it on St. Lawrence.
On the website or the Facebook page or something?
Yeah, I think it's on their website, which I think is stlawrence.org, spelled with a U. And then they have their homilies there, and that Mass was June 5th. Pentecost, Father Richard Hinkley.